David Eichel here for HawkeyeInsider.com. Please be joined by Hawkeye Insider Sean Bach. And this morning, the Big Ten released Iowa's new updated schedule for the 2020 football season. Sean, a lot of things to kind of digest here, but what were a couple things that popped out to you when the schedule first dropped?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say right off the bat, you got to look at Iowa's schedule and you're like, okay, like the first couple games look favorable. I mean, you're at home against Maryland. Obviously, we're not really sure what they're going to do as far as home games go this year, but Maryland, a team that's not necessarily going to be at the tier of some of these other teams. You go at Purdue, which would be a tough game, at Minnesota. Those will probably be two of the tougher games on the schedule. And then you have Nebraska, Northwestern, and at Illinois. Three games that you probably should win. So I think best case scenario, Iowa, I mean, obviously best case scenario would be 6-0 through those first six games. But I think a real possible scenario there is probably like a 5-1. And then you have a bye week, October 17th. And then you close out the season at Penn State, at home against Michigan State. Michigan State just lost one of their best pass rushers who opted out for this season. You have another bye, and then you have a must-win at home against Wisconsin. And then on the 21st of November, you go at Ohio State, which I think will be probably Iowa's toughest game this season. So, I mean, at first glance, I think it's promising. But I think you look at some of these games, and I mean, I don't know how much like fans are really going to play a factor. No fans are going to play a factor, but there's still a lot of like change that could happen over the next few months up until the season, with players opting out, and maybe even just like we honestly don't even know like what's going to happen yet as far as the season goes. So I think at first glance it's a favorable schedule, especially to start, but I could see like a 7-3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's interesting too, and I want to give a quick shout out to Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren. Entire process. And I think the Big Ten scheduling wise, there's a lot of flexibility there. I mean, I think they put together a really good job there. But Sean, I think the first thing that popped out to me, Iowa doesn't have to go at Penn State and at Ohio State back-to-back weeks. I mean, that was as brutal of a 2-week stretch as probably across college football. But I mean, like you said, they end off the season at Ohio State. That's not going to be an easy get. And I think on top of that too, Sean, I think Barry Alvarez must have made the Wisconsin schedule because, I mean, they have an absolute cakewalk, and that's going to put more pressure on Iowa if they do want to come out of the West, that they're going to really need to go probably 8-2, maybe pull off a 9-1 upset. But we have full reaction and full coverage at HawkeyeInsider.com and with a lot more coming tonight, so stay tuned for that.